and make sure everything's working okay. So can you see that?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, I can see that now.
Ah. That's June Oil.
Yeah, that's me.
Right, it won't let me put the lights off, so it won't go black around it. Are you okay with looking at it through
Yeah,
Lightroom?
we're fine. We're fine.
Okay, so we'll have to look at it like that.
Yeah.
So I'm Emma Finch. If you don't know who I am, I'm a photographer based in Manchester. I'm just going to talk about the images. I'm going to talk about what I see and how I interpret it. I apologise if I misinterpret something or it's not what you actually intended. And then if I see any tweaks that can be made, I'll point them out. But I have to say, there's some fantastic images. You've really worked so hard on these. So much thought's gone into them. I was really impressed, to be honest, because it's not an easy thing to do. So I've got notes here. So if I'm looking down to the side, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at my notes in case I forget something. So we'll start with this one. I'm just running through them in the order that they came to me. So with this one, I see a lady who is absorbed in her craft, an artist or a photographer, anyone who's used to working with people or having people sit in front of them. Through lockdown has had to work on their own. They've had to take to self-portraits, which this lady has done here.
Emma, are we supposed to be seeing this image?
Can you not see it?
I can.
No, I can't.
See it. I can see it. I can see it.
Is there something I need to do at my end to see that?
No,
Should have come up automatically.
should come up.
No, there's nothing there.
Keith, what can you see?
Go off gallery, Keith.
I can just see everybody.
Yes,
I
so
can't
you
see
need to
the,
go top right hand, Keith.
Speaker view and exit full screen, it says.
Speaker view, go to speaker
Exit
view.
full screen.
Go to speaker view.
Ah, that's better.
Got it.
Okay. Can't see anybody now, but I can see the image.
Everyone else okay? Can everyone see?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Great. Yeah, so it's great composition. We can see clearly what the lady's doing. We can see her hand. We can see that it's the same person who's looking back at herself. So to me, it says two things. It says, one, anyone who is creative has had to find ways to be creative with themselves and in the house, hence the self-portrait. But it could also, in a more conceptual way, mean that she's looking into herself. She's considering who she really is. She's really thinking about who she is. The lighting's great. As I say, I really like the composition. I might be tempted to take just a tiny bit off the chair at the bottom, because that by taking a little bit off the bottom, it would put the face on the iPad more on the third. So it would a bit better. And also beautiful shiny hair, but there's a shine at the top right corner, which maybe I'd be tempted to down a little bit, just because then all eyes go straight to the iPad, which is essentially the self-portrait part of the image. Yeah, but very good image. So next one, I thought this was fantastic. If I saw this in a gallery, I'd be straight over to it. It really makes you think. It's got a lot of impact. It makes you want to stand in front of it and think what's going on here. So how I interpreted it was people looking to their faith through lockdown, or people looking to a higher power. So we see this figure, a bit of a face with glasses on. The glasses hint at intelligence, up in the sky, people looking up to this person. The three figurines at the bottom, I think they are little figurines. They're not actually people, but you can't tell at first glance. I like the haze and the blur, because that adds to the sort of confusion and the uncertainty. I like the fact it's in black and white, because it makes you really focus on the characters. So I think it's a great image. I think the figure in the sky, presumably this godlike figure, is lighter. That's the lightest part of the image. So people are looking for lightness. They're looking for clarity. They're looking for hope through this dark time, which has been locked down. Let me just check for anything else. Yeah, no, there's no way I could improve that image. There's no distractions. There's nothing pulling my eye that shouldn't. And it's a very good image. So well done, whoever took that. So this one again, I love the colours. I think the colours are beautiful. The greens and the browns. So it's a lady who looks like she's absorbed by nature. She almost looks trapped by nature. And it looks like nature is almost swallowing her. So with this, I don't know, two things really. I think one, this whole pandemic started in nature, and it's just consumed the whole world. So with the added element of the gloves on the face, she's trying to protect herself. We're told not to touch her face, but she is touching the face. The gloves are the striking part about the image. So she's trying to protect herself, but she also looks in despair as well with the hand position. What else was I going to say? Yeah, it's a very well thought out image. The only thing I would say, it's a tiny point, is there's a couple of the leaves just below are a little bit bright. Would pull my eye just a little bit. But if you tone those down just a tiny bit, I think it's a great image and really well thought through. So this one, so it's black and white image, and this lady is putting colour. She's painting colour back into her face. She's trying to bring herself back to life after so many months of lockdown. So she's starting with her eyes because she wants to see what's going on. She wants to see what's to come. The vertical lines behind her I really like because they look like a prison, but she's in front of them. So there's hope that she's escaped. This is the end of it, and she's coming out of this sort of prison-like state, and she's getting back to life again. I would say that the vertical lines are just a tiny little bit not vertical, so they might need just straightened a little bit. And also with the 3 zips at the bottom, I might be tempted just to either tone them down or take them out because they were just pulling my eye a little bit. But again, another clever image that's well done. So well done with that one. So Joe Wicks, I don't know about you, but I've done Joe Wicks pretty much every day through lockdowns. Very much part of our lockdown in this house. So yeah, a great sort of documentary image. I like the pose. It's very dynamic. I like the angles. You can clearly see Joe Wicks. I like the fact that her t-shirt ties in with his t-shirt, and she's kind of framed by these 2 wooden borders. So yeah, a great sort of document of lots of people's lockdown. Now there's 2 of these, so I'll talk about this one first and then I'll talk about the other one. So I love this one. I think it's fantastic. It very much sums up how I think a lot of us have felt through lockdown, which is completely ripped apart. This year has completely turned everyone's lives upside down. So her face is torn in 2. The fact that it's paper seems to suggest the sort of ephemeral nature of life and or mental health. The great neutral background, it's interesting enough, but it's plain enough. It's warm colours, so it sort of draws you into the image, and you like this person, but you feel sorry for this person because it's warm. It brings people in. If it was cooler, it would push people away a bit more. So it makes you feel sorry for the person. So the second version of this is with the computer. So again, it's all of us living this virtual life that we've lived for the past 5 months. Pretty much everything we've done has been on the computer. We've been consumed by this virtual world. We feel sort of locked into this virtual world because it's all we've had, really. So yeah, both of them are great. I like them both. So this one, great concept. So how I interpret this is that this lady feels a shadow of her former self, clearly a photographer. She feels trapped within the confines of the rules and the regulations. It's stifling her creativity. The fact that she's drawn in pencil makes it feel like it's from centuries ago, even though she's holding a camera. Maybe suggesting that lockdown has felt like a very, very long time for her and for most of us, I think. And the blue of the background, I think it's a really good choice. The blue says two things to me. One, it says NHS, which is what this whole lockdown has been about, protecting the NHS. But it also says sadness at the situation as well. Tips to improve, there's just a tiny little black dot on the forehead, which could maybe be taken out. And also, if you've got a version with the whole hand in, the whole hand will be better, although it's not too critical at the bottom of the hands in. It's just if you've got it, it would improve it. But yeah, very good concept. So this is someone who is trapped, caught in a situation that they don't want to be in. It looks like a paparazzi shot. It's got a lot of impact. It looks like they're up against glass, which makes me think they can see their life, but they can't access their life. It's like an invisible barrier. It's got drama, it's got emotion. I love the hand, the expressions, it's great. And also the tight crop helps the claustrophobic feeling in the image. So that works really well for me. So well done on that one. So this one, it's lovely colours in there. I think it looks like a composite at the back. So this is a lady who's teetering on freedom. She's got the lock and the open gate in her hands. She's looking very glamorous, which I know I certainly wasn't looking glamorous in the middle of lockdown. So this suggests that maybe it's towards the end of lockdown, she's about to access her life again. She's hopeful and optimistic for the future. Ways to improve it, on the left-hand side as we look at it, if there was any more space, that would be better. It's a little bit tight on that side, a little bit bright on the left-hand side as well. But lovely colours, I like the colours in that one. So this one's got a lot of impact. It's very conceptual. It's a raw portrait with great expression in the eyes, lots of concern in the eyes. Great lighting, neutral background really helps. This looks like someone who's lost his words, or who isn't being heard, or doesn't know what to say. The fact that he's naked sort of suggests vulnerability as well. So I think that's a very powerful portrait. So well done on that one. So this one, so bound hands is the main subject. So someone who's constrained and tethered by the rules and the regulations. She's almost looking pleadingly at the viewer to help her or to release her. The black and white works very well in a sort of documentary style, and it sort of shows the seriousness of the situation and of the theme. The hands look a tiny little bit bright to me, so I might be tempted just to tone them down a tiny bit, but as a concept it works really well. It's a great image. I love this one. I think it's fantastic. It's a fabulous concept. So much work's gone into it. So what should be a pleasant and normal hobby, such as knitting, has turned into a constraint. It's all this lady can do. She's maybe had enough of knitting. I love the shapes and the angles. I love the triangle at the bottom. I like the circle on the head. She's she's blending into the background, which maybe suggests she feels overlooked or forgotten. Or maybe she's been in the same spot too long and she feels like she's blending into the furniture. Again, the fact that is she naked? I don't know. Possibly looks naked. Shows vulnerability. Lighting's perfect. It's well edited. Great composition. And yeah, a great feeling of constraint in this. So that was one of my favourites actually. So this one, there's a lot of emotion in the image. I think that's a great expression. It's a great pose. Almost looks tearful or thoughtful. What I did think, it might be more powerful with a little bit, maybe the top shelf cropped off. And I think black and white would make it really, really pop in a sort of documentary style. So I think with this one, what you got is great. Just a tiny bit more, a couple of tweaks, and you'd have a fantastic image. Again, this one's got a lot of impact as well. So the light is most definitely behind this person. He's walking into the darkness. He probably doesn't know what he's walking into, as most of us did at the beginning of lockdown. It suggests depression and darkness. The fact that the light is right behind him, it's not on his face at all. He looks fed up. The slightly dishevelled hair, and apologies if your hair normally looks like this, but the slightly dishevelled hair, and it's highlighted more so by the light behind. I mean, pretty much, I don't know about you lot, but during lockdown, I didn't care what I looked like. People, men have grown beards, women have, let their hair, do whatever they want to do. So I think that works really, really well as well. And yeah, it's very clever. So it hints at depression and low mood, but it's a simple image, but it works really well. So yeah, humorous image, which is good for a bit of variety. So yeah, one of the struggles of lockdown is not having anyone to cut our hair. So yeah, so clever concept, definitely part of everyone's lockdown because everyone's been stressing about their hair. The only thing I would say, this one's slightly tipped, needs straightened up a little bit. You can tell by the corner, it's not quite vertical, so maybe just straighten it up a touch. And I don't know, the grey thing on the left, I'm not sure what it is, maybe crop it off. It's pulling my eye a little bit. But yeah, that's a good image. And yeah, this man looks very happy. I think this is someone who's enjoyed lockdown. He looks very happy. He looks content with his lot. The one thing I would say is if you ever have any writing anywhere on the image, people will try and read it, whether you want them to or not. So the little plaque behind, it may well be part of the image, but if it's not intentionally there, people will look at it.
Engineer.
Now I are one, it says. So it may well, if it's part of the image, then leave it there. If it's not, I take it out because I'm trying to read that as probably everyone else was, and you're not looking at the face. So in that respect, it's a little bit distracting. But nice lighting. It looks like daylight, nice even lighting, and very cheerful face, which is nice to see.
I don't like that.
So here's a lady who's very much absorbed in her craft. She looks very busy. You can tell she's been crafting away. She's got things on the table there, and it's a great documentary shot of, I think, a lot of people's lockdown, which has been a lot of crafting. She looks very serene and calm. It's a good document of time spent during lockdown, and I suspect she's actually enjoyed her time crafting. I really like this one. Great lighting and great composition. The darker background makes the subject really pop. He looks engrossed in what he's doing, and he makes us want to look at what he's doing. He's well framed with the picture and the door behind him. The colours work really well. So his shirt ties in with the colours on the light box, is it? So yeah, I did enjoy that image. It's a good image. So here's a man who looks resigned to his lot. It's got a grainy texture added to it. He looks like he's coming out of the darkness into the light. It's very dark behind him. So it's got a slightly optimistic feel to it, but slightly cautious as well. So yeah, so that, to me, this feels like something that's happening towards the end of lockdown. This one, another humorous image. I love it. That book, please, to my husband. The green works really well, and it shows the vitality, and it enhances the humorous feeling. It's fresh. You know, the lighting's great on it. He's got a very sort of resigned look on his face. But it also shows the very real struggles of families living together through lockdown. It's been intense. I'm sure it has for everyone. And he's reflecting and trying to improve. So another common theme of everyone's lockdown, but done in a humorous way. So yeah, well done. I really like that one. So I like the angle that this has been taken from, because it's been taken from slightly lower down, and we're kind of looking up at this lady and up towards the ceiling. It suggests to me that she's looking after someone. I'm not sure if I've got that right, but it feels like she's looking after someone. She's got the face mask on. She's looking down at someone. It's a great concept. I just wonder if there could be a little bit more to do. You know, if it was the intention to be the carer and to be looking after someone, I wonder if maybe a hand with something else, something in it that enhances the theme a little bit more. But as I say, I like the low angle, and it does imply that she's either doing something or looking after someone. This one looks a little bit out of focus to me. So yeah, it's a little bit out of focus. I'd be tempted to crop off the lady at the back on the left. The hairdresser on the right does look engrossed in what she's doing. And again, it's the sort of opening up of lockdown, the first trip to the hairdressers. It's very exciting. So another hairdresser one, which is, I really like this one. It's a great documentary shot of real life post-lockdown. So everyone's taking their precautions as all the PPE and the face masks. You can see clearly what's happening. You can see both the hairdresser's hands. You can see she's cutting the hair. It's clear what's happening. But the thing I really like is the bright colours, the red, the pink. It's well lit. It hints at hope post-lockdown, and you know, it's a happy occasion. Ladies getting their hair done after months of not having a hair done, and it sort of hints at the optimism post-lockdown. So that one works well. So yeah, this one again. So I think we saw the cropped-in version, which was with the black and white version, and this is a similar or the same image, but on an iPad. So suggesting that she's trapped within a digital world. She can't escape it. It's tearing her apart. She's clearly in distress. This is someone who longs for human interaction. And yeah, that works well as well. I think the black and white for me had more impact because it was more in your face. But this, you know, again, is the virtual world is a huge part of lockdown. So yeah, that's well thought out. So this is panoramic on a deserted beach. There's a small shadow of a person down at the bottom, and it almost shows people's insignificance on Earth compared to nature. And if we think about this, the pandemic has destroyed almost the whole globe, or certainly our way of life, for many months. And it also shows a very real aspect of lockdown where we couldn't go anywhere. We weren't allowed to go anywhere. You know, you had one walk a day, if you were lucky. Everyone was stuck at home. And I like the fact that it's one lone solitary figure, one shadow, which sort of implies the isolation of lockdown and the loneliness of lockdown. So yeah, a simple image, but that it works well, it covers a lot of themes, so well done. Yeah, this is another good image. Now I interpret this two different ways. I don't know which is the correct way. So the first way I thought was it shows the many roles of women through lockdown. So from cook to carer to worker. Or it could also mean that her professional life is behind her, maybe. Maybe she is on furlough or she's been made redundant. And this is just her at the front doing her best to stay safe with all the PPE. So it's either or for me. I wasn't sure which was which. Like the composition, the posing works really well. The black and white is really good with the pop of colour with the gloves. I like the fact that it's a hat, mask, hat. It's been really well thought through. I've maybe put a tiny bit more contrast in the black and white, but otherwise it's a superb image. Well done. So again, a simple portrait showing a man covering his mouth. So we've been told to cover our mouth, but not to touch our mouth to stop the spread of the disease. So he could either be sneezing because he's caught the disease. He could be trying to protect his mouth because he doesn't want to catch the disease. Or it could also suggest that he doesn't know what to say, or he's not being heard. So it could be interpreted in lots of different ways. But yeah, simple portrait, and yeah, it works well. So this one, is it like a police mugshot? I think. So you've got the front shot, and you've got the side profile with the numbers at the bottom, and it's a great concept, I think, because basically we've all been under house arrest pretty much for 5 months. I'm certainly under house arrest at the moment because I'm in quarantine because I went to Mallorca for a week, and for the past 2 weeks I've literally not been allowed to step foot over the door, which has been a bit frustrating. May as well be in prison. So yeah, it works really well. I would be tempted to enhance the theme a little bit if it's supposed to be the sort of prison theme, which I think is a great concept. Maybe something stripes behind, or just something else to add to sort of enhance the theme a little bit. But yeah, it's very clever.
I was thinking of putting some height
yes,
lines across the back.
If you could do it, that would be fantastic, because I think the theme is perfect. It's 100% how everyone has felt. But I think it needs to be just a touch more obvious to people. And if you've got the height thing, or you can do the height thing, then that would be absolutely spot on, because it's a great concept.
So there are two of mine there. That last one with the hands over the mouth. Which do you think works probably the best?
I like this prisoner one because it's a concept that I haven't seen really with anyone else's. I think if you could put the height things in, it would be perfect, because people would immediately get it. Whoever was looking at it, and it's going in an exhibition, is that right? They would immediately understand it. So yeah, if you could do that, that would be great. I really like the concept of this one.
That number actually is my birthday.
Is it?
It's the date I was born.
I won't try and work out how old you are. Right, this one. Very interesting image. I think it's a very brave and a very raw image. It's someone who's very vulnerable and almost looks like they're in pain. I like the texture and the blur because it adds to the theme of the confusion and the uncertainty. I wasn't 100% sure about the dots, but I don't know if that means that they're ill, maybe.
Corona, looks like.
So what, sorry?
Is it meant to represent the coronavirus?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe that's.
I know it's not quite the same, but I just wondered.
Yeah, I thought maybe it does hint at the person being ill themselves with the dots. I mean, 'cause it's near on impossible to show if you've got corona or not. And with a child's drawing, you tend, when you were younger, someone was ill, you'd maybe put red spots over them. And that covers all illnesses. So I did think maybe it's someone who's ill, it's someone who's vulnerable. There's a sense of despair in the image. And again, it's a really interesting image, and I think it's one that I'd be over to sort of stand in front of for a few minutes to think about. And I like images that make me think. So yeah, well done on that. So this is someone who looks pretty happy. Someone who likes astrophotography, maybe. And hopefully that's something that they could practice during lockdown. They do look pretty happy. But it could also hint at something greater, in that we're a tiny fraction of the huge universe, really. We're really pretty insignificant compared to what's out there. But generally I felt this image was quite an optimistic image. Now there's a couple of these. So I'll talk about this one first, then we'll have a look at the other ones. So this is a lady who's absorbed in nature, which I think is what a lot of us have done. Our one walk a day, we've really loved our one walk a day, and we've really sort of lived in nature for that 1 hour a day that we're allowed to be out. She looks calm, she looks peaceful. It's great composition. She's on the third, she's looking into the image. The colours are very calming. She's wearing yellow, which is an optimistic, hopeful colour. There's no sky, it's just the field. So it looks like she's happy being fully embraced by nature. And I think with this person, she maybe enjoyed lockdown, or didn't have such a rough time as other people, because these are quite hopeful, quite serene images. So there's this one, there's this one, and there's this one. So this one's definitely the happiest. She's got her sun hat on, it's yellow, it's bright, smiling. This one's a little bit more serious, and this one looks quite contemplative. So there's 3 options there. They're all good. I probably prefer this one, actually, just because it looks like she's really lost in thought. And last one, which was a late edition. So this gentleman is doing his baking. Again, a great theme for lockdown. I know a lot of us have baked and made bread. It's a huge part of our lives the past 5 months. So, yep, he's in his kitchen. You can see he's right in the middle of making the bread. You can see the bits of flour falling off. It's well lit. So yeah, a great sort of record shot of a lot of people's lives during lockdown. And I think that's all of them. Does anyone have any? Did I completely misunderstand any of the images?
Right, here's your chances, folks. If you want to just engage with Emma about anything that she said, now's your chance to.
Or feel free to ask any questions if I've not mentioned anything. Or
I've got one, Emma.
Yeah.
Do you judge photographic competitions?
I don't.
You just did, Keith.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not a qualified judge. I should have said that at the start, actually. I'm not a qualified judge.
Probably makes you even better.
No, the reason I'm asking is because you've done this very well, and I was impressed with your last talk as well. And I just wondered if you did judging.
Yeah, no, I haven't. No, I don't. I haven't got my. You have to do an exam or something, not an exam, but you have to attest, don't you, to be a qualified judge. And I haven't done it.
Well, I think you have to be recognised by an organisation to put yourself forward as one. But
yeah.
I think you do it very well, actually.
Well, thank you. Hopefully, haven't offended anybody too much.
Can I just ask a question, please? It's more a general question for our committee. Mm-hmm. There were 3 images of mine in. Mm-hmm. Is going to be able to? They all were pretty well received. How are we going to have to decide on just one?
I think you will need to decide on your primary self-portrait image, the one that you want to represent as being, you know, the thing that you're submitting, along with a contextual statement, which will be 2 or 3 sentences long to sort of explain what you want to explain.
I thought that was for the other one. I thought the contextual statement was for the other image.
No, you can do a contextual statement for both the self-portrait and the other 1, 2 or 3 images that you're going to submit. So
How do we submit that?
Sorry?
How do we do that? How do we actually put it together? How do we submit it?
The contextual statement?
Yeah.
Good question.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know, Len. Just get
okay.
together. We're saying about 2 to 3 sentences for the contextual statement.
It's quite possible it'll just be straightforward email to probably myself. But
okay.
We'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else want to ask them anything?
Yes, one question. I did stick another portrait in the other section, which wasn't particularly wonderful, but if I improved on it or maybe had some comments, can we choose and switch what I want to be? It hasn't been, it's not written in stone because these are the ones we've sent in for this.
If I just explain, can I just explain what's happened? I've taken all of the images out of the album on the website. Now that you've heard what Emma said, you may like to make some changes. Now I'm going to ask you to resubmit the image that you want in the book, so that Helena knows which images that she has to handle now. And so just one self-portrait to go into the website now. Anytime from now. I've emptied the albums today, and you've got until August the 24th to resubmit.
Is that both of them, Rosie?
Pardon?
Rosie?
Yeah.
Is that both of the self-portrait and the other image as well? You've emptied both?
I've emptied both. So
right, okay.
And the instructions are a little bit different for the file name, because I realised that you may want to put a title on your images. So you put your member's number and the title of your image on your image, so that you'll know by your member's number what your name is, and you will have your title there, so that Helena has that. Okay, that's for all the images that you submit then. Okay, is there any question about that? That is on the upload page, so I've done that today. I've changed all those details today.
Yes, and there's a new upload, isn't there? We've had through. It's a new way of uploading stuff.
That's for competitions. That is not for this.
It's nothing to do with this.
Absolutely nothing to do with
okay,
this.
so it's the same thing again.
Yes, so you're entering.
I shall be explaining all that to you in a week or 2.
Yeah, okay. So what I read on there was, and I thought, oh my goodness, now what? But it's not for anything to do with this.
No.
it's for
Go
later.
to the website for uploading these.
Okay.
Anything else for Emma? Okay, so
do you want me to unshare my screen?
Yes, you can do, Emma, thank you. So actually, if we say, Helena, do you think we need another Zoom meeting, just in case anybody's got any questions?
What do people think? I mean, to an extent, if you wanted to go one-to-one with anybody here, or you know, just ask me a question by email, phone, or whatever.
I think that's the best way, don't you, Helena? So if you've got any questions now, submit them to either Helena or myself or any committee member. We've discussed this pretty much. And yeah, by email.
And in any case, the other images of the possible ones are going to all, if you've submitted them, are going to be looked at by the big group or whatever it was.
Yes,
yeah.
That's in process. We're just setting up the date now.
And that will be, again, you'll be able to discuss with them things. Right.
Okay, anything else, folks?
I mean, I'd just like to say, I know Emma said that she was impressed by the submissions, but having had a closer look at them, I've been really impressed by people's work. It's been a really good exercise, and people have really risen to the challenge, I think, and the end result is going to be a fantastic piece of work. I'm convinced of it. So everybody should be really proud of themselves.
And actually, Emma, can I ask?
I also think the fact that they can be interpreted in different ways is also very good. It's important for the public that they can put their own interpretations on it, because they've suffered lockdown just like the rest of us. So the fact that the meanings of them, as Emma was saying, is not too precise on some of them, and they can be interpreted in different ways, and I think that's good.
It's been really interesting to hear what Emma's actually said, because I had other ideas. So it's really nice, and hers are equally valid. And it is lovely to hear that said. Yes. Emma, I was going to say to you, do you mind if we use some of, I'm not saying that we will do, but do you mind if we use some of what you've said tonight around and about? Do you want to copyright what you've said? We would acknowledge you, of course.
I'm not precious at all. No.
Yeah. Is that okay? A couple of people anyway, I'm going to be writing what you've said or something, because they can't be here and they want to know what you've said. So, but some of the things you've said have been really nice, and I'm sure people might like to have that.
No, I'm, as I say, I'm really impressed with all the work. I know you've worked really hard. It's a difficult thing to do, and it's a difficult thing to come up with a concept, and there's some fantastic concepts. I mean, really, really creative and really thoughtful, with, you know, so many levels to them, which is great. And, you know, I've interpreted them one way, someone else will interpret them a different way, and that's what makes this project interesting. You know, it's up to the individual what they see in the image. So yeah, well done.
Yeah, and I think they pick out the main spots in the lockdown, don't they? Really good. Yeah, thanks ever so much. So thank you, Emma. That was lovely.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you. Really useful. Thank you. Okay then, folks, we'll say goodbye and get to it and make any changes you want to. If you're not going to make any changes, just upload them again if you would, please, so that we've got them there. And that would be really lovely. Don't forget to upload them.
I didn't realise that we could actually put the title on. I thought it was.
Yeah, no, I've changed that today.
Yeah, I would have preferred to put a title on because it makes more sense. But anyway.
Well, it leaves it open just for the moment, doesn't it? And it
shall we put titles on when we resubmit?
Yeah. On the page, on the upload page, it tells you how to put your title in.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm expecting a title on, well, unless you don't want to put a title on. If you don't want to put a title on, that is your choice.
Titled.
I think everybody's going to put a title on.
Just took it as literally.
As photographers do, they put it untitled.
Yeah, I think so. Okay then, folks. Thank you very much. And Emma, thank you so much, because I'm sure that took quite a lot of time.
Yeah, thanks, Emma.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Bye, folks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Yeah, back to yourself, Keith.
Bye.
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 Bye bye.
Bye, Stu.
Bye, guys.
Oh no, Brian's awake.
We're still here.
I'm not changing it for you. You've got to change it for yourself.
I'm turning you off.
Brian's had a haircut.
This is my barber. This is my new barber.
I actually meant to say it was lovely to see everybody, because everybody except one person who told me they couldn't come has arrived and is here. Anyway, I'll send an email around and say that.
Okay, thank you, Rosie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.